did what we had to do. We used the nukes. We won the war, but lost the planet. Left it contaminated, most of it uninhabitable.
Never been a phenomenon like this. This is completely unprecedented. Everything that happens on board is for a reason, everything is logical, everything is rational, and everything is understandable with enough information. This was not a learning experience, and it wasn't an experiment. They weren't trying to figure out what makes us tick. The evidence suggested that this was a program. There is a reason for this program to be put in place. That's what the evidence clearly points to. What was happening was that people were talking about this reproductive material. People were having sperm taken, they were having eggs taken. People report that they were having embryos injected into them and sometimes retrieved from them.
What we conclude is that maybe these people are creating hybrids, creating a special race of people with DNA from us, human DNA, and with the alien DNA, creating people that are, I guess, more intelligent, more sophisticated. And I have heard other people tell me stories alluding to that effect.
I began to hear accounts of abductees who were taken into a room and their attention would be directed to a screen-like device. And on the screen, there would be a scene of normal human activity. A picnic, kids playing ball, guys standing around a grill, people talking to each other. And they'll hear in their mind, can you tell the difference between you and us? And the person will look at the screen and say, no, everybody looks the same to me. And I'll say, see, isn't that wonderful? Isn't that great? Soon we will all be together. Soon it will be wonderful. Soon everybody will be happy. Now, you hear that once. It's not a pattern. You hear that once, you just discard it. Interesting, who knows? But when you begin to hear it over and over again, then suddenly it has different meaning. This is from other people who are not aware of this testimony. And then I began to understand that what they were telling these abductees, what these beings were telling these abductees, is that ultimately this is an integration program into the society, not with gray aliens most likely, but with these hybrids who look quite human. For years and years and years, people would write to me and say, oh, well, are adult hybrids walking among us? And the answer is absolutely not. There's no evidence whatsoever that that's the case. But the evidence that I've been getting recently in terms of the goals of the program is that that might be the case. I don't really know yet. It's possible. And I am embarrassed even to say that. I'm embarrassed. And yet, it fits the pattern of all the evidence that I've been hearing for the past 20 years. It's focused on hybrids. The reproduction is to reproduce hybrids. And it does appear to be an integration program, as crazy as that may sound.
This is the testimony of thousands of people. I'm not making this stuff up. So what's that all about? One of the things that I find interesting about the book of Revelation, it talks about those who follow the beast. It says those are those whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. Scripture says that our name is written in the book of life, and if we reject Christ, don't accept Christ, our name is blotted out. Well, how could you blot something out unless it was there in the first place? That says to me, God says God is not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance, and I believe the proof of that is He put your name in the book. And we just got to confirm our reservation, so to speak. Yes, I accept your payment for my reservation. Oh, you reject it? Sorry. It's blotted out. The ones who follow the beast, it says, are those whose names were never written in the book of life. Who are these guys? Probably people who are never meant to exist in the first place, just like the Nephilim were never meant to exist in the first place back in the days of Noah. When I look at some of these videos and stuff, and look at this research, it can be really hard sometimes not to get afraid.
What you're saying is we've got some world leaders who they really don't have
out of nowhere.
They come out of nowhere and they do a lot of damage.
That's right.
They do a lot of damage to the world. Are you acquainted with the case of the young computer hacker from Great Britain, Gary McKinnon?
I don't recognize the name.
Okay, all right. Well, this several years ago, I guess it's probably been 5 years or so ago. He's just a young guy, in Great Britain, and he hacked into the Pentagon computers. And he claims that he uncovered a list of active duty U.S. military commanders who are not human. Now, the U.S. government wants their hands on this young man, and they want to put him in Guantanamo.
And obviously also they were training us for service as adults in a secret time-space program that I believe did emerge and exists to this day. In fact, I think the Gary McKinnon case links to that because he found an off-planet Navy.
You're talking about the young man, the young hacker in Great Britain.
Yeah, I mean, we were told that we were going to be placed in we were going to be sent to the Naval Academy, and that was going to be used as a pretext to involve us in future project activities. So I believe that the time-space capability is still under the Navy and may link to that secret naval fleet in space that McKinnon found in Defense Department records.
And just for the benefit of listeners who don't know the story about Mr. McKinnon's young man in Great Britain who is accused of hacking into Pentagon computers from his home in Great Britain. This happened 4, 5, 6 years ago. He claims that he actually saw top secret list of U.S. military officers who are not human but are extraterrestrials. Now, the Pentagon wants Mr. McKinnon's. They want his butt in Guantanamo, and they've been trying for years to get him extradited to the United States. And I don't think he's been shipped over here yet, has he?
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, so the British government has not surrendered him yet, but he's facing life in a military prison if he is brought to the USA. Now, we have hackers getting into military computers all the time, every day. This is an ongoing story. But they haven't gone after anyone like they have this young hacker who claims he saw the list of military commanders who are actually aliens. Now, think whatever you want to think about it, but they sure are after him. They want to lock him up. So let's continue with your story, Andrew.
Right. So in 1972, I had served in Project Pegasus for 3 years. It actually, chronologically, was 4 years because there were a number of hidden summers embedded in my experiences because we were teleporting to New Mexico, involved in project activities, and then we were teleporting back to New Jersey, arriving on the afternoon of the mornings we had left. So I had essentially 3 extra summers sandwiched into those 3 years.
He was tasked with training human-looking aliens with assimilating into human society once again. And what they do with it depends on the task these different hybrids are sent on. Many of them have the vicious reptilian consciousness implanted in them, and they're spread out through all strata of society. Many of them are police officers, many of them are bureaucrats, and some of these hybrids are surrogate controllers for the reptilians and other ETs, where the people, the MILABs or abductees are constantly manipulated and controlled by these hybrids. Some of them are very rapacious. Karen talked about how she was frequently raped by these hybrids in a very sadistic fashion. And these hybrids basically are everywhere, and they're created, they're mass-produced, and many of them are being brought here, been described as new arrivals, being brought here in literal spaceships. There have been abductees that I've been in contact with who've been in a remote outdoor location with their reptilian and reptilian hybrid controllers, and in the middle of the night they will see craft land and heaps of these hybrids, dark hair, blonde hair, all shapes and sizes. They're not all fit looking. Some look like ordinary people who's overweight, whatever the case may be, and they're all getting out of these craft.
Now we're recording again. So we're going to continue here with.
Let me finish this story.
Give us a little. Back up just a little bit.
Okay, I was telling about this alien that shapeshifted. I mean, this demon that shapeshifted in front of me, who was a human, I thought. And as he was shapeshifting, it looked like.
Were you in a room, or where were you?
Yeah, I was in a room. To the right, to the left of me, was glass rooms, which I'm going to talk about later. There was literally, I believe, I didn't count them, but it was long. There was about 100 glass rooms, and in each one of them that I walked past was more gruesome than the other. And the last one had a child in it, and that's the only one I asked about. I said, "What's he doing in there?" He said, "We let him out he'll eat everybody in the whole world and kill everything."
He'll eat everybody.
He'll kill everybody, kill everything.
A child.
I said, "Well, how do you feed it?" Yeah, it was a child. All I seen was a poor kid. Now, I know it was demonic probably, but they give you a sad look, and I was looking at the poor kid. He's trying to make me feel bad. He goes, "That way we feed him is there's 3 or 4 I can't remember, 3 or 5. It was a bunch of chambers that were steel this thick, that had hydraulic doors that they dropped the food in, and then the other one would drop it in, and it had to go through that many chambers, because if he got out, that was the end of it all." And I said, "Does he have a soul?" "Yep." I says, "You're in trouble when you open them chambers, because a little bit of him's getting out every time, because he's a demon. And I promise you that he could get out of there. Because you're not God." And I heard only thing that people that are not believers hear about is John 3:16 and the end of the world stories. And the only thing that I remember my mom talking about, some demons were so evil they had to be chained up in front of the angels of the Lord or somebody to be watched. So, is that, and you're not God, if there is one.
So you saw this child in a chamber, and then what?
Yeah. Then he pushed a button, and all the chambers went to where they could see all the things that were in there could see us, but we couldn't see them. It was like a tinted glass. You couldn't see it, and it went dark. Fluorescent lights all down to there. So we're sitting at this table, and they're talking about things, and I'm sitting there, and I am scratching my head. I'm really wondering why I'm here. And then it came to the question, why did you bring him? And now this guy knew who I was. I guess the general thought he was going to fool him, and I was available, and he grabbed me. He goes, "Is he a 27? And the general got scared, because I know, I watched the general, that guy already knew, like he knew some things about the future.
The guy asking the question, is he a 27, was this the one that would shapeshift, or was this somebody else?
No, the shapeshifter, there was a scientist, asked the general why he brought me in here. Well, so everybody says, "Devil can read your thoughts." I was thinking on purpose, I was thinking I'm going to pull his gun out in 2 seconds, and I'm going to blow his brains out, and I'm going to blow them all out. They didn't know what I was thinking. They would have reacted to that. That's the only reason I did that. I wasn't really going to do it. I was just thinking that.
You were testing if they could read your mind.
But you know what they were doing? At the end of that hall, it was a dead-end concrete wall. But beautiful, naked women of the utmost beauty were coming out, walking past.
Coming out of the...
I don't know, I couldn't see, because when you went into the door, you couldn't see the end. It kind of, there's a window there, and you just couldn't see the end unless you stepped outside the door. I don't know if you could look real close to the window, but I was in the corner of the room. And I seen them, and they were, I looked. He goes, they're luscious, aren't they? He says, you can have any one of them right now, and they will screw you to death. That's what he told me.
You were still sitting at this table.
Yeah. I said, they're not real. He goes, oh yeah? He said, come here. He went like this, most want to come in. And she went in there and started robbing on me and stuff. She felt real. And I said, they're holograms. He said, how do you know they're holograms? I said, I can feel it like static shock, like electricity on me. They're not human. I guess you're right. He said, but they can make you feel just when you could have sex with one, you would be just like a real woman. And we'll give them to you. And I said, where do they come from? And he pulled out of a drawer and a glass table. I never seen a glass table with a drawer. Had a wooden drawer on it. I don't know how it was mounted, if it was super glued or what, but it was there. It was a drawer, and he had a box about this big. He says, I can get her and tell her to go in there, and you can take it home and have it forever.
He could have the woman go in the little box.
Yeah, and he'd give me the little box, and I could keep her forever. Every time I open the box, she'll come out. That's what he told me. I don't know if I could have done it or not.
Okay, well...
I didn't, but I said, no, I ain't doing that. Mm-mm.
Okay, but when did they shapeshift, and what did it look like?
He shapeshifted after he'd shoot the general to bring me down there. And then I asked the question, what am I down here for? And nobody ever did answer me. And then he finally was chewing that guy out, and he goes, well, and then the guy that was going to shapeshift said, well, let's see how he handles this. And I knew they were talking about me. They didn't say my name. And so I looked at him in the eyes, and I went, that's when I went, what? And then he started doing it. And I seen these digital things. And I wasn't afraid, because I seen those women, and I knew they were holograms, and I said, he's just a hologram. And so he came in there, and he was just, anyway, it was digital looking, but he turned reptilian, just like the ones that you see in V. And his clothes dissipated. They didn't tear off like in Hulk. He didn't take them off. They just dissipated and blended in. And he looked like something on V, that movie V. And I remember trying to look at his feet, because the glass was at a certain angle that the glare was so bad I couldn't see under it. And I was going like this, and so he went like this. He knew what I was trying to do, and so he went like this. And he had claws on his feet and clawed hands. And he says, I could be anything I want to be. I said, you mean anything living? He goes, no. I could be a tree, a door, I could do anything. Just ask me. I said, well, my grandmother always told me to be afraid of the devil and not God. And I don't know which is which, but you know what? I'm not going to talk to you no more. And I said, and gave him the finger, and I said, all of you, including you, General, can go to hell. You can get in trouble for that? I said, throw me out, please.
The reptilian.
You got it.